Yo, 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 yo. Hope everybody is doing well on this fine evening. I know I've had an amazing day, a productive day. I hope everybody's had a productive day as well. Guys, turn your cameras on, get in the mood, get in the right headspace. I had some nice house music playing, just to get me into the flow, get some energy going, but also keep me a little, get me in the vibes. Reason, for this kind of cool, this kind of cool is late night. It's just to, set the tone, get you into a nice mindset before you kind of go to sleep if you're in the UK. And if you're in the States, then, it's just a good, nice transition into the evening. But yeah, so today we're going to be going over influence. Okay, so today we're going to be going over influence, the importance of influence, and, what kind of characteristics and, person is, going to be important when it comes to trying to gain influence. Okay, so firstly, what is influence? Why is it important? So as a lot of, when it comes to influence, you can look at it in a lot of different ways. So, firstly, you can, look at influence as, having influence over, people in general, or, being, social media influencer, or, being a leader. Now, when it comes to the different types of, influence and why it's, fundamental when it comes to, building relationships, building rapport, and, building something, big. Not just big as in the sense of, relatively big, but something that's huge, colossal. How to have, a lot of impact without a lot of work put into it. Okay. So influence will be able to kind of give you impact, a higher kind of impact per meter squared, if you understand where I'm coming from. Like for the minimal amount of, effort and work, work done, you can get a lot more, output essentially, and a lot more, effect and influence on people. So how do you gain influence, and what does influence stem from? Now, from all of my reading, what I realized is, when it comes to influence, there's a lot more than meets the eye into how you can gain influence over people. Okay. So first things first, you want to look at, your character as a person. Okay. True leadership and true influence always begins with the inner person. Okay. When you have a good character, a good heart, people will automatically have respect for you. And where with respect comes influence. When you respect somebody highly and you look up to them, automatically you want to listen to what they say. Just like with your mentor, you respect them for the person that they are, the qualities that they have. By default, you want to listen to them. Okay. But that's first of all, that's kind of how I operate anyways. You also, you want to look at the relationships. Now, the relationships is, to do with, who they know. Okay, because who you know also plays quite an important part. Oh, I'm on the wrong microphone. You guys should be able to hear me a little bit better now, and my camera's gone out of focus, which is great. But yeah, like who they know, who you know, and who you can connect people with will also, give you a certain element of influence. Why is that? Because the character of a leader, okay, will filter into an entire organization, its employees, its students, and in the sphere of your influence, essentially, you must develop deep, meaningful relationships that go beyond, your daily kind of normal habits. Okay, just because you work in the same kind of space every single day, and you work, around the same kind of people, and you're not used to, going out of your way, or, meeting new people every day, you need to build relationships. Why? Because relationships build loyalty, they build influence, and ultimately they build business. Okay, they build a lot of loyalty, influence, and your business as well. Okay, relationships are one of the most important factors when it comes to influencing people, because when you have relationships with a lot of people, automatically, the you learn a lot more, because you're getting a lot of different outputs from other people. You're getting different people's outlooks, which makes you reflect upon your own outlooks of life, reflects upon your own character. When you meet somebody that's extremely kind and you speak to them often, your kindness will automatically increase. When you start, building relationships with people that are wealthy, you automatically get a wealth mindset. Now, if you know those kinds of people, you're going to have influence over others. Why? Because you're going to automatically gain people's respect. And that's also going to build your character as well. A lot of these essential kind of things that build your influence are gonna help you build your character. Like they will build upon each other. It's not a matter of, yeah, you need to follow each of these things and you will gain influence. It's a matter of all of these different things build upon each other. It's not just one thing that you have to do, which is going to get you influence. It's a matter of doing all of them in combination, which will then allow you to build influence. Now, next is talking, is about, the knowledge. So looking at, what you know, or what the person that has, that you respect and, the person of influence knows. Okay. Now, think about it like this. When you guys join a new business or you join, anything in that matter, if you get on a course, who are you going to go to learn? Who's going to have the most influence over you when it comes to, taking advice from? It's the person who knows the most information. So by being somebody of knowledge, being knowledgeable in whatever field it is that you're in, is going to allow you to gain further influence. Okay. New environments for people bring about a lot of questions that need to be answered. Okay. So by seeking knowledge, okay, before demanding a kind of leadership position, so you seek knowledge, you find out more information, and you build up your knowledge before looking for a leadership position, okay, you have more influence. Why? Because the leaders should need to learn first and then lead second. Okay. So you want to build your knowledge first and then go to lead. Don't lead and then build your knowledge. You can't be a leader without the knowledge. No matter what platform you're a part of, no matter what business you're in, if you want to lead correctly, you must build the knowledge in that area first. Does that make sense? Now, the next point when it comes to building influence is having intuition, what you feel. Okay. So leaders tend to, seek and recognize influence intangibles such as energy, morale, timing, and momentum. Okay. So these kinds of different factors. Okay. So you want to look at, feel things from people. You want to be able to, have that kind of, feel vibes of people, feel the energy that people are giving off. Okay. Look at different people and understand their morale, their ethics. Okay. The momentum they bring. Understand that. Understand the wavelength that they're on. Be able to change your frequency to their energy. Because if you're on the same energy and wavelength as somebody, in terms of the vibe that they're giving off, the way they're thinking, the way their thought is, the way their brain is processing information, if you can get onto that level and understand their viewpoint, their standpoint, and their way of thinking, automatically that person can relate to you a lot more. They understand where you're coming from. And if they understand where you're coming from and you understand where they're coming from, you now have a lot more easier flowing conversations. Now you're actually being able to, build on point two, which is relationships, which is also going to build your character as a person. So like I said, we're going to be building on a lot of different things here. Okay. And all of these different characteristics and, um, laws of influence are going to build upon each other. You can see how a lot of these are starting to stack and stack and stack, and how they all work in conjunction to create influence. Now, another very important factor is experience. Having experience will make you a better leader, make you have better influence. Why is that? Because when you have more experience, when you've been through things where you've been places and done stuff, you now have experiences and it allows you to relate to different people. Okay. It allows you to relate to different people. And again, this builds on relationships. So another factor, again, We're stacking. So when you have more experience, it allows you to now build upon your relationships because you now can relate to different groups of people through your experience. Now, you see how, I've kind of studied influence when the first Late Nights with Da Vinci was going over my story. If you haven't seen that, check out the Golden Dynasty's YouTube channel because it's there, episode 1 and 2. So that's the reason why I started off with that, because if anybody goes back later in time and watches the series, the first thing they do is they hear my story. They see where I've been. They see the journey of myself. And through that, I'll be able to relate to different groups of people through different parts of the story. Why? Because they see me before as a college student, as a university dropout, and somebody who made a lot of mistakes and made some losses along the way. So I'm now relating to people in education, people who dropped out of education, and people who have been through trials and tribulations in their journey. So automatically I'm going and I'm, connecting with 3 different groups of people, as well as people, in their teens. Because I was 17 when I joined and I turned 18 and dropped out of uni. So I'm relating to a lot of college students. And you can tell that through my team because a lot of students in my team are in their teens, within the range of 17 to 19, some over 20, and, a few people in their 30s. But that's mainly due to, being able to inspire certain people and being able to build influence. See, when you successfully can build influence amongst people, see, you're not limited by age. I may look baby-faced and be young, however, and I'm also, sometimes I can be a little obnoxious. And, my character, you guys know what my characteristics are like. Those people that know me, I like to have fun. I'm quite loud, all of that stuff. But when you can build influence successfully, and going back to intuition, when you can jump on a call with somebody that wants to join your business, or, in your team or within your organization, and have that intuition to feel their energy, their vibes, and the momentum that they have within them, you are now going to be able to build conversations and build businesses with different age groups, people of different interests, because you can automatically adjust yourself to those different wavelengths. Are you guys following? Give me a nod if you guys are still following. Perfect. Also, guys, remember, like I said, if you are gaining value from this, drop a snap on your story and, mention me. I really want to get crypto, Late Nights with Da Vinci out there really hard. Username's Omar.Mia with 3 H's at the end. But, carrying on, all leaders will face obstacles, okay, in the office, at home, and in their personal lives. However, through overcoming difficulties, leaders grow in multiple different ways. And you need to understand that these things show growth. They don't show weakness. They don't show anything else. They show growth. They show maturity. They show development. They show a journey which builds relatability, which builds influence, which builds leadership. And it's beautiful. Okay. By navigating through multiple tough experiences, followers will likely, have more respect for you. So going back to the character side of things, for where leaders have been and where they can take, their team, their business in the future. Does that make sense? So next is, what is it again? It's the ability. So your ability as a leader, what can you do? What can you do for your team? Now, I'm sure my teams go, people, the people that are in my team and my business right now that are on the call, you're probably kind of ticking off some of these boxes for myself. Now, I want you guys to tick these boxes off for yourself as you're going along. Make a checklist if you like, and I'll go through them so you can kind of write these down. I hope you guys are taking notes. So you have character is number 1. You've got relationships. You've got knowledge, intuition, experience, past success, and now we're moving on to ability, which is the last one. Okay. So rate yourselves out of 10 on all of these different factors. And now ability. Okay, what can you do? What can you do as a leader, as a person of influence? Okay. If you look at, the people who have the largest influence in the world, let's talk about Elon Musk, his ability and influence to move the Bitcoin market, to move different cryptocurrencies, with a tweet, you know, the ability to do loads of crazy things, like he's building tunnels in LA, having the influence to do, you know, all of these crazy things in the world, you know, influence people into the type of cars that are coming into the future. Why is that? It's because the ability he has. He can, people know him as a multi-billionaire. Okay, they have respect for that. They also know that he's bought asteroids, he's made spaceships, he's got, you know, satellites in space. You know, because of his ability to do these things and the skill set and knowledge he has as a person, automatically he's built influence through that. Whether it's influencing what we believe, influencing the markets. Like I'm sure you guys have seen that, or you know, that follow cryptocurrency. He tweets one thing, he could tweet the word Bitcoin, put Bitcoin in his bio, and the market will blow up. And that's influence right there. Although it's not over people, there's still influence there, which is causing that. Now, you know, for many of us, we have the you know, the opportunity to lead in some capacity, but to maximize your influence, you must continually grow in those 7 factors that I've gone over. Because if you don't grow in those 7 factors, you're going to be doing yourself the disservice of building your leadership. And if you don't build that leadership and that influence, then you're going to be lacking in your relationships, in your business, in your ability to communicate with people. Because if you step into a conversation with all of these 7 factors built up, you can now go into a room, tell your story, be able to read the wavelength of the conversation and gain influence of that conversation, take control of any conversation that you want to. See, you want to be that person that's noticed as soon as they walk into the room. You want people to be able to smell the personal development of you, like you really just emit it. Like you want to be like glowing in development, in influence, in leadership. See, some people can look at someone and say they look like a leader. You want to be that person, whether you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter who you are. You want to be in that position where you walk into a room and people know you have influence. People hear you speak and they know you're a leader. See, you want to have those characteristics of leadership because actions speak louder than words. And you need to understand that. Because if you just rely on what you can tell people rather than what people see you do, then your influence will diminish itself. And you'll have the influence in your own world, but in the actual fact of things, you have no influence at all. Because people around you see differently to what you think in your head. See, without development and understanding those 7 factors, yeah, you might think that you're a leader, you may have influence. Like I thought about that. I thought once upon a time, I thought I was a natural leader. And I was just playing myself really because I wasn't a natural leader. And thinking you're a natural leader or being told you're a natural leader is misleading because most people don't know what leadership is. And one other factor that I'm going to add into this, which is very important, is integrity. Having integrity will gain you massive influence. See, without integrity, how can you hope to influence people when they can see right through your true, your true desires and your true motives behind any conversation and, you know, connection with any one person? You gotta understand that integrity is like really, you know, putting your heart on your sleeve, you know, wearing your heart on your sleeve, because people can see your true intentions. You're showing them your heart. If people can sense the integrity from you, from the way you speak, if you can build rapport with people in the way that they can sense the integrity that you have, if they can hear the integrity in your voice, if they can hear the sincerity and the care in the words that you speak, then you will have influence over anybody. Because people like people with integrity. Nobody likes people that, you know, you talk to them and they just feel manipulative. You know, sometimes you have those conversations where you feel like, yo, this guy sounds like a liar. Like the way he's speaking just sounds like he's, got some ulterior motive. Sometimes you can sense that from the way someone's speaking to you. See, if you give off those vibes, then nobody's gonna want to listen to you or take advice from you because they don't know your true, you know, ulterior motives or your true motives behind any conversation. You need to be really clear, concise, and speak with tonality as well. Building tonality and speaking with emotion is going to allow you to connect with people a lot better. See, throughout this call, you'll probably notice that depending on what I'm talking about, the tonality of my voice changes. Now, that allows you to reel people in while you're talking and get their attention. And when you have their attention, you now have their, you have the ability to influence. You have them listening to your words, using hand gestures. You can see I move my hands a lot. Why? Because although we're through a Zoom call, I can connect with you a lot more. Like when I said reel you in, you can see me moving my hand. You allow people to feel more connected to the conversation. If you see any person who has a massive business, you'll see that they use tonality and hand gestures and all of the 8 things that I've listed all the time. You'll be able to feel that they have integrity. You'll be able to sense that they've got a lot of experience. You'll know that they have a lot of knowledge. And you won't be able to miss it. They'll be completely unavoidable facts. And that is, everybody, how you build influence with 8 different steps. Okay, now I hope everybody rated themselves out of 10 on all of those different factors and what they feel like they need to build upon to build up those factors. And one very key thing I want you to take away from today is building your knowledge before you go to lead. Because leadership comes second. Building your knowledge comes first. You need to learn to lead before you can actually go and lead. You need to learn the skill set before you can actually go and take on and show people how to build the skill set. Now, I hope everybody gained value from today's call. This is going to be happening every single day of the week, Monday to Friday, 10:30 p.m. UK time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. Also, the recordings are always up, either by midnight or the next day. But if you guys aren't in my Telegram channel, that's where I post all of the, the links and stuff to the calls. I'm gonna send that into the Zoom chat. But yeah, I hope everybody gained value. On that note, I'm going to, end the Zoom call here. I hope everybody, enjoyed that. But yeah, peace out, familia.